Hey everybody, welcome to Unlocking the Magic. You're listening to episode number 304. We're going to do an underrated and overrated episode today.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. I'm excited to do these. I love these overrated, underrated. I just feel like because there's so many things that you could go through and talk about when you're on the podcast going overrated, underrated. You could just list out anything you could ever imagine. You could just list out and you could be like, is that overrated or underrated?
You can really pick it apart.
Yeah. And there's so many different choices. Like there's so many things that people think are underrated or overrated. I don't know. I just think these are fun.
So we're going to list out a few well-known attractions, foods, and specific places in Walt Disney World. And then we're going to discuss whether or not we think they're worth the hype. So that would be overrated. Or maybe they're not appreciated enough. So that would be underrated.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that's appreciated not enough. And then there's a lot that's overappreciated.
Yeah, exactly.
Appreciated too much. They're on the overappreciate. They're like tipping the scales of overappreciation.
Let's get it out of the way. Tonga toast.
No, I'm not talking about Tonga toast today. We said that.
Let's get it out of the way.
No Tonga toast today.
No Tonga talk?
No Tonga talk.
Okay.
It is not on the agenda for the podcast. I'm sure it'll come up at some point, but for today, it is not on the agenda. If you're new to the show, by the way, thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the podcast. We appreciate you joining us every single week. We do this show here, and we hope you like it. We produce a podcast every single week. Hit that subscribe button. And let us know what you think of the show. Actually, you know what? Don't let us know what you think of the show.
Why is that?
Just hit the subscribe and just hang on.
For now?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait till the end.
If you're new, don't leave a review.
Okay, it gets better. If you've been
listening with us for a little while, yeah, leave one.
Okay, sounds good. We've got a lot going on. We have our Patreon, we have our YouTube, we're on TikTok now, which is a lot of fun. I'm sort of obsessed with that.
Yes, we are on TikTok now. Unlocking the Magic on TikTok. Unlocking the Magic podcast on Instagram.
So many ways you can hang with us.
We're doing a new video for YouTube every Tuesday as well. So if you want to get a shorter dose of the podcast, and every Tuesday we have a show coming out at 8 o'clock, and you can win a free t-shirt if you go over there, like the video, leave a comment between 8 and 9. And
you got to listen to this entire episode of the podcast because we are going to announce the winner of last week's.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Towards the end. So you got to listen through.
I have a winner right here.
Okay.
Right here.
Hang tight.
Yes.
We're going to wait till the end.
I actually have two winners to announce.
Oh, okay.
Because last week on the podcast, I said we're going to, if you screenshot and share and tag us on Instagram, we'll give you a t-shirt.
That's right.
And we also have to announce the winner for the YouTube comments. So we have two winners.
Yep. So you can sport that UTM, Unlocking the Magic merchandise.
We have one winner 2 times.
2. Okay.
I don't know if you understood that reference, but.
Probably not, but it's okay because it's not a Disney movie. We quote a lot of movies. Okay. So starting with attractions, we're going to hit it off with a slower attraction, something that isn't a ride on. It's an experience. It's a walkable experience that you have to enjoy. I feel like a lot of people may or may not understand this area or may skip it, but we're going to start off today with overrated, underrated. Here we go. Tom Sawyer Island.
Tom Sawyer Island.
This is located in Frontierland, Magic Kingdom. You have to travel by log-raft to get to your rustic hideaway inspired by the stories of Mark Twain.
Okay. Can there be 2 separate overrated or underrated? Because I feel like the raft ride over is one, and then Tom Sawyer Island itself is another.
Yeah, totally. Totally 2 different experiences. You kind of have to suffer through the raft ride, if you will. It's very rugged to get to your destination. But once you're there, I think this is a place where, again, a lot of people may decide to put off if they're the first timers in Walt Disney World because it's not necessarily a ride or it's not in your face kind of entertainment of an attraction, if you will. And it's work, right? To get over there. It's another step. It's work
to get over there, and it's work when you're over there.
Right. So a lot of people I feel may or may not decide to skip this one, but I think, I'm just going to say it right off the bat, I feel like this is definitely underrated.
I agree with you. This is definitely underrated, and here's why I think it's underrated.
Give us all the reasons.
There's not a lot of attractions when you go to Disney World that is completely up to how you make it.
True.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like generally you go to Disney World or Disneyland and you go on the attraction, and the Imagineers have done a great job of giving you that experience of you actually experiencing it. There's not much for you to do.
Yeah.
You wait in line. and then you get on the attraction, and then if it's done well, you have a good experience.
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer Island is one of those places where you make your experience when you're over there, good or bad.
That's true. It's like your attitude, your thrill for adventure.
Right. How long you're there,
Yep.
what you choose to do when you're there, and where you go. It's like it's totally up to you on whether you have a good time over there or not.
Or like your imagination, right?
Yeah.
It is how far you let it go, and that I think will enhance your experience or make you not have a great experience, depending on how you make it, right?
It makes me remember when I'm a guy, obviously.
Okay.
If you're not aware.
Yep.
When I was a kid, we used to always like go into the woods and play guns or ride bikes or play hide and seek. Like
It's not just a boy thing, you know.
I mean, I don't know, when I was a kid, there wasn't a whole lot of girls that wanted to do that with us.
I would have done
it. It was just all my friends.
We would have been friends.
So it takes me back to that childhood of like, you're in an area, you're on Tom Sawyer Island, and you can like play hide and seek. You can run around through the tunnels. You can, run away from your kids if they're being annoying, and there's nowhere to really go.
Didn't one of our kids get lost here once?
I think so.
They were with like their cousin, which was older and technically responsible, but I guess they got lost. Whatever.
We always do something, play hide and seek or do something when we're over there to like make the experience memorable. And I feel like this is one of those attractions that it's totally up to you whether you think it's good or bad.
To reach the island, head over to Tom's Landing and across the rivers of America aboard a piloted log raft. It's an unforgettable expedition into the heart of the American frontier.
I know that the raft ride over to Tom Sawyer Island is part of the experience, but I wish they would just make a walkway.
Yeah, I know. It definitely is kind of exhausting to pile in there. It's hot. There's no breeze.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it takes 14 hours to get to your destination.
I wish that you could just like walk over a bridge or something and be like, you know what? Here's the experience. You can take the raft if you want the full experience, but if you want the quick experience, just take the pathway.
If you're listening to this 2021, January, Tom Sawyer Island is currently closed for refurbishment, so it says to check back. But it is one of my favorites. I love experiencing this. No matter how many times we go, I seem to giggle and laugh no matter what. And you know what I can really appreciate is the caves during the hot, humid days.
They are a lot cooler when you go over there.
It's really nice. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when we play hide and seek here, I kind of want to not be found. Like I'm enjoying the cool cave and the atmosphere. The only thing I think they could make this better, Tom Sawyer Island, is I'm unsure, and I have never seen it be wheelchair accessible. So I think that could be something they could improve so that everybody could get a chance to kind of explore.
For sure.
That to me would make the experience even that much more better. But overall, I think it is definitely underrated. We agree.
Agreed.
Okay. Next one, Liberty Square Riverboat. We just talked about that because you have to cross, and you might see, when you get to Tom Sawyer Island, you have to cross the river, and then you might see the Liberty Square Riverboat over there. This is cruising along the scenic rivers of America, and it's a steam-powered paddle wheeler. You're looking at me like you're focusing on what
I'm thinking about. I haven't decided yet on whether I think this is overrated or underrated. I can't decide.
So, okay, here's the thing. I feel like we're just talking about Magic Kingdom version in Walt Disney World. And I feel like you really need to make sure you capture that because it is a different experience in Disneyland. And the reason behind that is because Walt did have his hands on making this attraction something that reminded him of his journeys back when he was traveling with Lillian.
Yes.
So to me, it has a special place in my heart in Disneyland. That being said, it's an attraction in Liberty Square, and it's something that is sort of the centerpiece, I feel, of that area. You can't miss the Liberty Bell paddling through the river, right?
Yes.
But it is something that we don't always have to do every trip.
Yeah,
I noticed.
This is tough. I feel like I want to say it's underrated because I feel bad.
Yeah. But it is 17 minutes long.
True. I want to say it's underrated because I feel like people should appreciate it, and it brings you back to like the whole, settling down, relaxing, enjoying the experience. Mm-hmm. But I can't say it's underrated, and I can't say it's overrated because I don't think a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah, I can see you're struggling right now.
So I'm going to say underrated.
All right.
I can't say it's overrated. Nobody rates it that high.
That is true.
It can't be overrated if nobody's rating it that highly.
Nobody's rating it at all. I think it's underrated in the sense where I feel like it's one of those attractions that kind of brings you together as a family or as a couple or whoever you're with. It kind of reminds you to appreciate the little things in the park. And I think it's has to do with, exactly what I say is like be in the moment. And it kind of forces you to do that because it is, again, a 17-minute trip. It is a slow moving attraction, and it forces you to kind of look outside the park and sort of slow it down.
It may be one of those attractions where you don't necessarily have to do it every single trip.
Yeah.
It may be every other trip, or if it's you've been a couple times, and it seems to me that it's not one of those attractions that people are wanting to go on and like, oh, we have to get on the riverboat.
Or
the
like
majority
running.
of people, it's like, all right, let's just take a break. Let's go on the riverboat.
Yeah.
So it may be you have to go on every other experience or every other trip, not every trip.
It is a kind of cool place to grab a snack and then have a really cool, it like gives you a good vibe or like a recharge, right?
Yeah.
Like I think this is something that's important in the park, especially if you're there for so many hours in the day and it's hot, which makes, it puts your body through a lot more intensity. It's like exhaustion.
Yeah, grab a snack.
Yeah.
And then take a 2:30 cruise around Tom Sawyer Island.
Time it.
And you'll be perfect. Like, that's the perfect time to go. Like, to me, it's definitely one of those attractions that you grab a snack and you go midday, right? Like, when you're sick of walking, you're tired, you need a recharge, but you don't want to, like, go anywhere where there's a lot of people. You just go on, find your little seat on the ledge and just, like, lean over the railing and just look and enjoy yourself. And reach into your bag and grab a snack.
I think, too... Also, it's not as in your face, totally sensory overload. So it's like a time where you can kind of settle down and unwind and like you walk away refreshed.
Yes.
But it is entertaining. You get to look at the American frontier. They have the Wilson's Cave Inn. You get to see an early American settlement. There's a lot of cool things along the way and sights of Big Thunder Mountain. You get to see Splash Mountain and my favorite, Haunted Mansion, the vantage point.
When you're on there is a... there is a perspective that you get that you can't see anywhere else in the park.
I think that's what makes it special to me.
Let's go to the next one.
So did we both say overrated or underrated?
I said underrated.
I think I'm with you. I think underrated on this one.
Slightly. It's almost properly rated, but if I have to choose under or over, I'm going to say a little under.
Okay, sounds good.
It seems to be properly rated, though.
All right, next one, which if you guys want to check out a cool video, this is what I loved lately that Disney World does. If you go onto the official Walt Disney World website, they have some attractions with videos. And this one is highlighted. You can see Space Mountain in the background, the sky full of stars, and it just looks so exciting. But this one is Astro Orbiter.
Oh.
Is this overrated or underrated?
I'm going to get in trouble for this one.
Okay, well, let me just give a little context here. It's located in Tomorrowland. Again, you got to check out this video. I'm just staring at it because it's just kind of surreal looking. Like you can see the rocket ships going through space and it just almost looks like it's off planet as it is right now. So I think that's what makes it cool. It is any height, all ages. It says slow ride spinning, which I don't think.
I think it could be slow. I think there's points. If you keep it low on the ground, you don't have to go high. It could be slower.
No way, man. It says lift off, hold on tight as your retro 2-passenger spacecraft levitates high into the air, picks up speed.
Wait, did it say 2-passenger?
It did.
It depends on who those 2 passengers are.
I know that you and I squished on one of them.
No,
once.
we weren't supposed to go in there together. It should say 1.5 passengers.
That was an experience I will never, ever forget.
1.5 full-size passengers or 2 little passengers.
Were the cast members giggling at us? Because I feel like at one point they were almost ready to lift off and like they could tell I was feeling the pressure because I was trying to force myself to sit and fit in the passenger seat with you. And they knew we were it was tight.
Yeah, they were having a good time on our expense.
This picks up speed orbiting a galaxy of planets while the sights and sounds of Tomorrowland whirl by far below. You're the captain now. You're the captain of your rocket ship.
I did not feel like the captain in our experience.
Control how high you fly by pulling or pushing the lever inside your ship. I gotta say, when I'm alone and I'm not feeling brave, I stay very, very low. I kind of get embarrassed because everybody else I know is flying high and having fun.
This is one attraction I like and enjoy going on alone.
You like to laugh at everybody, kind of. You like to look around, too.
You get to see people who, like, you can tell who the fraidy cats are.
Yeah.
Like you. You know? You see all these people, most of the kids, like, as soon as a kid gets in there, they just lift up that joystick so they go right to the top. And then you see, like, you down the bottom all alone. It's like everybody's up top having fun, laughing, and you're, like, way down the bottom.
These kids have no fear. I don't know what they're doing. They have no fear whatsoever, and I'm, like, holding on for dear life. I don't know. When this thing spins, it's intense to me. So for that reason, I'm going to say it is underrated. I think it's way more intense than it meets the eye. Like when you're looking at the description, when it says slow ride, spinning, all ages, and then you think of it as like, you know, like Magic Carpets of Aladdin, right? It's not super fast at all. This one, for whatever reason, maybe it's because it is set up high above Tomorrowland, so you get
I think that's what it is.
Breeze going.
So you're saying it's underrated?
100%.
All right, I'm saying it's overrated.
Can't be friends.
Overrated. Only time it's properly rated. Only time it's properly rated is at night. All right, what's the next one?
Next one, Mission Space. Are we underrated or overrated? This is in Epcot. What it's like to be an astronaut, you'll find out on Mission Space.
If this is what it's like to be an astronaut, I'm never going to be an astronaut.
Yeah, this one kind of bums me out in that regard. Like I feel Imagineers did a really good job with the setting, trying to get you, you know, through your space training and get you geared up to go into your mission, right? And then I think about, really, is this what it's like? Because I can't handle it. And now I'm bummed because I really love the idea of space travel. So I get sad.
You can't go into space until they can do like what they do in Star Trek and just beam you up.
Yeah.
Once they can beam you up, you're good to go.
I didn't realize like the spinning part. Yeah, that whole...
It's the spinning part. It's the close proximity to the screen where you can't really move. It's like exactly what I don't like about the Rock and Roller Coaster 2, where they put the harness down on you and you really can't move. And I'm trying to reach over to the kids' buttons and push the buttons on their side and mess with them a little bit.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm going to have to say this. I think it's overrated.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. It looks so cool. It's set back in Epcot. The look of the rocket going through, you can see Earth behind you. I mean, it looks so cool when you're walking up to it and you get so excited to the countdown, a liftoff. Now, regardless of what mission you choose, orange or green, of course, being the less thrilling version.
Yeah,
less
it's
intense.
the lighter. We'll call it the lighter version.
The lighter, less intense, family friendly is what Disney describes it.
That's pretty good, accurate right there. Family friendly. You can go in there with your little kids that aren't necessarily into spinning. Ours are.
Ours love it. Here's the thing. Regardless if you're in the green or orange, you're still in tight quarters.
Yeah.
So if you're not a big fan of small spaces, this might not be your cup of tea.
You know what? It's tough because I'm not a huge fan of tight spaces either, but I guess I know how long it's going to be tight for.
Yeah.
Like when the first time I was riding this attraction, I remember it closes, the visual part kind of drops down in front of you, the harness goes down, and I was like, oh boy.
Here we go.
How long is this going to be? I don't know how long I'm going to last in here because it's very tight for me. But then now that I've been on it a few times, I kind of know what to expect. All right, at this point during the ride or the attraction, I know it's almost over.
Right.
And I can handle it. But in the beginning, it was a little sketchy.
It is a little bit tough.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dodging those meteorites and you're in a tight cabin. Yeah. It's really tight. But I gotta say, I really want to love it. I just think it's overrated mainly because I'm just not a huge fan of motion sickness.
Yeah, and you can very easily get motion sickness in there. Even though it does, even though you're spinning, it does do a good job of making you feel like you're getting thrusted up.
Yeah, I mean, it describes it as a NASA experience. Like they really wanted to give you that feeling of going to space. Maybe I just want to be lied to.
And you know what? We went to the Kennedy Space Center and we went into the attraction they have there that the astronauts really said simulate like the rocket launch.
Oh yeah, I forgot
and
about that.
And it does kind of feel like that. It does give you, other than like the shaking, like when you're at the Kennedy Space Center, there's like a violent shaking going on
right
as you're getting thrusted up, where the Mission Space doesn't have the shaking. It just has the very much pushing you back in your seat, getting ready to go up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar. I guess it is like that.
Yeah. Oh, man. I want to go to space, but...
So maybe Mission Space should add some violent shaking and it really feel like you're an astronaut.
I need to be beamed up, like you said.
Yeah, you need to be beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah. Okay. We're done with attractions. I think we should go on to a couple foods.
All right. Tonga toast, underrated. Very underrated.
anyways, we actually did a video on this recently. It was mostly snacks in Walt Disney World. We talked about the turkey leg. We talked about the Dole Whip. These are a couple
I think it was all snacks. I don't think it was mostly snacks.
Oh, it was all snacks.
100% snacks.
You're right. Okay. There's just a couple of things I wanted to throw in there. One is a snack that we didn't mention on that episode, that show. So this one is, and I had to reuse the word refillable because a lot of people talk about this as a way to not spend a lot of money on snacks.
You mean our kids talk about it as a way so they can save money?
The kids always want it. The refillable popcorn buckets.
Underrated. I like popcorn at Disney.
If you're watching the video right now, I've got my amazing refillable popcorn bucket right behind me. It's Oogie Boogie. It was sent to me as a gift, and I am obsessed with it. That being said, is it underrated or overrated? Would you say?
I kind of jumped the gun and already said.
You already said?
Yeah.
You're just hungry.
I always said it was underrated.
Here's the thing. If you don't get tired holding that bucket, it's like one of those things where the kids always want it, and then guess who gets to hold it the entire trip?
You know what, though? It is pretty light, and the handle can detach, so you can wrap it around your backpack strap if you want, and then reattach it, so you don't necessarily have to hold it. You are technically holding it, but not holding it in your hand. Because I do think it is annoying when kids get stuff, and kids, I'm talking to you. Diz Kids Podcast, if you're listening to this right now, we'll plug there.
Yeah.
I am talking about you.
Yeah.
Hold your own stuff.
Yeah. See, it's all fun and games when you say, oh, it just clips on your backpack. No big deal. Yeah. Okay. Take that on Space Mountain. Try to figure that out when you got 3 seconds to board your rocket and you're trying to figure out where to put all this stuff.
I'm pretty sure the refillable popcorn bucket doesn't fit the little pouch they give you on Space Mountain.
Pretty sure it doesn't. So it's really stressful to me when I have to carry extra stuff. That being said, I think it's overrated. However, if you spin it to the, exclusive items like the Oogie Boogie refillable bucket, I'm going to say it is underrated.
I think it's underrated just because I think refillable popcorn, popcorn's a good snack for you to have throughout the park. It's always pretty good. I've never had a really bad popcorn experience at Disney. Maybe one. I've never really had one. Has we ever had a stale popcorn experience?
I don't think so, but the kids have said a couple times that it smells better than it tastes occasionally. I think that, I don't know why they say that, but
well, that's the turkey leg too.
True.
Turkey leg looks and smells better than it tastes.
It's a filler for sure. And I mean, look, the refillable portion of it, when you have tons of kids with you, it is cost effective.
Yeah, it is one of those things that you can share, right? Because you can bring a couple baggies with you and pour some of that popcorn into the baggies, and kids can have it separately. You're not taking any of my Mickey bar or Mickey ice cream sandwich.
Hold your own.
Or churro or Tonga toast. Or anything for that matter other than the popcorn.
Okay, so moving on. Next one. This is very popular in the park. Starbucks in the parks. Now we have Main Street Bakery, which we often visit. That's at Magic Kingdom. And then, for instance, there's in Animal Kingdom, it's Creature Comforts. They have Starbucks. What do you think? Is Starbucks... I remember when it first got to the parks, everybody was so excited because it was good coffee and it was something familiar to them at home. And the way I feel the parks execute the order, it's way faster than anything you would experience at your local Starbucks at home, right? They really made it seamless and it's quicker, even with the fancy drinks. That being said, there's Joffrey's at the park, so there's that in the back of our minds. So what do you think? Is Starbucks overrated or underrated?
Have you seen the line?
I have seen...
The line for Starbucks sometimes is bigger than the line for Space Mountain. If you have never been to Disney and you're walking down Main Street and you look into this building, you would really think that is where Mine Train starts.
Yeah, I mean, it is...
So for me, overrated.
Okay.
Overrated. Too long a line.
But see, here's the thing. I mentioned this, is that I feel like they're very... Yes, the line looks intimidating, but I feel like it moves fast. I feel like they really have their execution is really well there.
No doubt, they do. They do a great job of dealing with the mass line that forms at Starbucks.
Yeah.
For me, though,
still too.
Although we got to stop talking about Joffrey's because that line's getting pretty hefty as well.
That's also true.
And they don't necessarily execute as well as Starbucks. I don't think. Not that they don't execute. They execute well. I don't think they're equipped for the lines that form at Joffrey's like Starbucks is.
Right. They're a lot smaller, meaning they can't have as many cast members helping you.
Right.
Like, so it's
you
slower.
go to Starbucks, there's an army of people working in
There
there.
literally is.
And they do a fantastic job of trying to make things go as quickly as possible. The problem with Starbucks is there's all these different options that you can get.
Yeah.
Which slows it down. Like if
Totally.
you just get a coffee or an iced coffee or a regular, the line would go so smoothly.
Overrated?
100%.
I think I'm with you. I think it's overrated. I think that it's, great, but I think there are other options in the parks that you can enjoy and have a good, just as good as experience.
It's getting difficult, though, because we've been many times lately, and lines in Starbucks and Joffrey's are both really long. So, there's no one or the other that you can go wait in line for. You got to bring your own coffee in there.
Everybody wants their coffee.
Order your Joffrey's online, cook it in your hotel room, and then just bring it with you.
Or stay at one of the resorts by...
Yes.
You know what I was going to say, right? The Skyliner. You grab a Joffrey's then you head into the park, right?
Yep.
So there's less line. Okay.
Agreed.
Moving on now. That was just a quick couple of things I wanted to mention. But places, and these were your ideas. So I have 3 places in the parks. Do you want me to read them or do you want to?
No, you can read it.
All right. So the first one you wrote is Disney's Boardwalk.
Ooh.
So good one. Now, Disney's Boardwalk is near Epcot, right? It is
near the side entrance.
Near the side entrance of Epcot. It has some hotels there. It's not necessarily a destination people think of when going to Walt Disney World, unless they're happen to be staying at one of the resorts.
Yeah, so if you're staying at the Boardwalk, the Yacht Club, or the Beach Club, or Swan and Dolphin, you got pretty easy access to the boardwalk.
Right. Otherwise, you have to take transportation there.
Or there's a parking lot you can park there.
That's what I mean.
But you have a short, I think it's like a 2-hour window you have.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot to do at the boardwalk, so I don't know if it's something that you would have to go to every single time you go.
But we actually end up going every single time.
Well, let me finish. I was going to say, it depends on what your expectations are.
Oh, fair.
If you expect it to be like Disney Springs, where there's like a hustle and bustle going on, there's a lot of shopping, a lot of restaurants, you'll probably be disappointed. But if you're looking for an alternative to Disney Springs, where you can kind of go relax, they always have some street performers happening there. You can rent a bike. All of the resorts have the ability for you to kind of just sit down in the lobby and kind of check it out, or walk through the resort itself and see what that resort is all about. I think that you'd be pleasantly surprised. I think it's, in my opinion, it's underrated for that fact. I think people just disregard it.
I think it's underrated because of all the points that you just said. Plus, if you are old school Disney like I am and remember what downtown Disney used to be like when it was the Village Marketplace, that is what Disney Springs is to me. And it reminds me of the good old days with my dad, walking hand in hand and just enjoying the simple life. You don't have to be totally entertained 24/7. The beauty of things.
You don't?
Well, I don't. A lot of times the beauty of things can come from a simple sharing a ice cream with someone or walking around the boardwalk looking at the beautiful landscape. That to me is what the memories I have of old downtown Disney, now Disney Springs, or when I was a kid it was Disney's Village Marketplace. So that's why I think it's definitely underrated.
I enjoy, as much as I always talk in the podcast about how much I love to go, I enjoy going to Disney, the boardwalk, and just kind of relaxing, getting a coffee or something to eat at the bakery, and just hanging out in the grassy area in front of the boardwalk hotel and just relaxing and just watching everybody.
All right, we already talked about it, but what do we think about Disney Springs? Underrated or overrated?
Now, this is the complete opposite for me.
I'm just looking, before you say anything, I'm just looking at their website and it says today's hours 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Weather 62 degrees and sunny.
Maybe that makes it underrated for me.
I want to go.
I feel like Disney Springs gets a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And some of it's well deserved. There's a lot to do there. There's a lot of shopping. There's a lot of restaurants. They even have musicians playing there. So I think it's a great place to go. That being said, I feel like it gets a little bit too much attention, and I think it's overrated. And it's not my style. It's not my style of what I want to do when I go to Disney as someone who doesn't live there. If I lived there, maybe it would be a place I go more frequently.
Okay. I think all your points are valid, and
Thank you.
I made note of all of them. I think you have a good point. Hear me out. I feel like ultimately I was going to say it's overrated. I feel like it is a busy place. It's intense. There's a lot going on, and you end up spending a lot of money on things you may or may not need.
Yeah.
Because that's the destination.
Well, I didn't need that hat and that shirt and that mug.
Oh, no. Heidi did that.
Oh,
I needed
maybe
that.
Heidi did.
I'm sorry. Beyond that, I think it's a place to go and you end up spending money because it's shopping and then it's dining, right? So you do end up leaving with a smaller wallet, right? Which kind of is painful at times, especially when you're 7 days at a Walt Disney World resort plus park days or whatever. So I was going to say it's overrated in that regard. But I feel like Disney Springs is kind of like how we described hear me out, Tom Sawyer Island. I feel like it is what you make of it. Because,
what are you trying to say? I make it bad?
No. I do think that when we go, I try to implement or at least travel to all the places that I remember doing when I was little and kind of reminding myself to, I don't have to go to all these stores, but I can still have a fun experience watching street performances. I can have fun looking at artwork. I like that part of Disney Springs. And for that reason, I think it's underrated. So if you look at it that way, but if you're going to, I don't know.
See, I think you can get all of that
at
the boardwalk without all of the chaos that Disney Springs brings with it.
Okay. Maybe I'm just better at window shopping than you are.
I mean, you definitely are, because I don't want to window shop. I don't want to shop or window shop or online shop.
And I like people watching.
I do too. It's maybe it depends on where and when and what I'm eating and holding.
And 2 stores here have my soul, have a little piece of it.
Which ones?
World of Disney.
Yes, that is a good store.
Love it. And then Disney Style. It's those 2 places that I feel, World of Disney for one, it's like every Disney store you can ever imagine in your local mall, all in this massive place.
They did have a kiosk there that was specifically for lefties that I enjoyed.
Yes. See what
like
I'm saying?
Everything was for lefties.
Yes.
Which they need more stores like that, because I feel like everything that you buy is aimed for righties. I mean, none of us lefties over here can use it.
Yeah. So are you still going to say it's overrated?
Sticking my guns. Overrated.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Disney Springs gets a lot of love. How can you say it's underrated? I feel like everybody talks about it and everybody goes there and everybody wants to visit. I don't think it could be over or underrated if that's the case. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's properly rated, if anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's overrated. Sorry.
Okay. Last destination place. You actually put a hotel on here.
I did.
Yes. I was really excited to talk about this one because we haven't talked about this resort hotel in a long time, and this is Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Resort.
You know, a lot of people want to stay on property, and the Swan and Dolphin is never really on their radar.
No, I don't think so.
And we've stayed multiple times here. I enjoy the grounds. I love the pool at the Swan and Dolphin. Like, they have 2 different pools that you can go to no matter which one you're staying at. One's, I feel, is a little bit more quiet. One has music playing. It's got a slide. It's a little larger. There's a little bit more going on there. They have like a basketball court. They have a volleyball court. There's just so much you can do that I don't think people realize how entertaining this resort can be. It is not necessarily one that people think of when they're staying on property at Disney.
And I gotta say, their beds and their rooms are extremely luxurious for the money. Like, I feel this resort is very comparable room quality wise to something like the Beach Club. Like, I feel when I'm in this resort, I feel more catered as an adult with your robe and all these like pamperings than I do, I think, at other resorts in Disney.
I agree. I think that we've stayed multiple times here and I've enjoyed every single one. The only thing that I do say is that, you know, if you are eating at your resort, you know, I don't know if these are the best resorts for quick service or the restaurants that you'd want to eat at. I'm not saying they're not good, but I think Disney on property may have a better options for you.
Yep.
So that's the one thing. But other than that, like you said, the rooms are great. The grounds are great. Things to do with the kids on the grounds. The location itself is fantastic. And I just, for that reasons, all of them, all of the 1,000 reasons I just mentioned, I think these are underrated.
I think that you had it. You had it correct. The food, the restaurants there are very good. We don't want to make it seem like we don't enjoy the restaurants. It's just very pricey, and without the Disney dining plan, you kind of feel like everything costs so much, and then it just becomes a burden because then you realize like all the fees and like, could you have stayed
right?
You know what I mean?
On property Disney
right.
resort.
So that kind of gets into your head, but then you have to remember again like how luxurious I feel these updated rooms are. I mean, we stayed recently in was like a year ago, right? When
Yeah.
we last stayed, and I was really impressed. Maybe I went in with low expectations because I hadn't remembered.
Maybe with me, so you probably did.
Probably.
I think if your favorite resorts are Epcot and Hollywood Studios, like there's no better resort to stay at than the Swan and Dolphin.
You should think about it.
Because
for
they're
sure.
easy access to both.
Yeah.
You get to take the boat to Hollywood Studios, and you can take the boat right over to the side entrance.
Yeah.
I know it's not called that. Don't send us emails, please.
Look, it is now. That's what you make it.
We call it the side entrance.
You're the owner here.
That's right.
Okay. Well, that's it.
All right, well, let us know what you think. Info at unlocking... Actually, you know what? Don't email us.
Why not?
Unlocking the Magic Podcast on Instagram. Shoot us a direct message there.
Okay.
We get a ton of emails already. You're probably more likely to get a response if you direct message us on Instagram versus sending us an email. Sometimes we get a lot of spammy emails.
Yes.
So Unlocking the Magic on podcast. No, wait. Unlocking the Magic Podcast on Instagram. Shoot us a direct message. Let us know what you thought of this overrated. Like what your out of the options that we said on the podcast here, which ones for you are overrated or underrated. And also follow us on the TikToks.
That's right.
Unlocking the Magic Podcast on TikTok.
It's a lot of fun over there. You
Yeah.
can spend hours and hours on TikTok without knowing it.
Waste your night away with us on TikTok.
Whoops.
Oh, the winners. I have to announce the winners.
Yeah, do
Here
that.
we go.
Yes.
So the winner on Instagram. So you can do the same thing this week. Take a
Okay.
screenshot of you listening to this podcast. Share it to your feed or your stories. You have to tag us, though, so we see it.
Right.
So we can choose you as one of the winners. And today's winner for Instagram is Stephanie Clinton.
All right.
Thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate you. And the winner from YouTube is Sean Frederick.
All right.
YouTube winner comment. Thank you so much. Don't forget, Tuesday, 8 p.m., we have another video coming out on YouTube that you
We have
can
another
go
one.
every Tuesday.
We're doing it.
Every Tuesday.
Okay.
Go leave a comment over there, and you can have a chance to win. If you are a winner, if you're Stephanie or Sean, email us, info@unlockingthemagic.com. When you email us, just send us your shirt size and your shipping address, and we'll get those out to you ASAP.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I enjoyed this episode.
Would you say this episode was underrated or overrated?
I don't know. We'll have to let the audience decide. Was
Okay.
this episode overrated or underrated?
I'm sure the Diz Kids podcast will let us know.
Oh, they're gonna critique us. No doubt.
No doubt.
You know what? You know what's fun about the Diz Kids podcast is like they'll critique the show and they'll call us Bruce and Connie.
Yeah, right? What's up with that?
Well, they have to put some context. If they said mom and dad, nobody would know what they're talking about.
Do you think they feel funny saying Bruce and Connie?
No, I think they love it.
No, okay.
I think they love critiquing us, and I think they love that they say Bruce and Connie and call us out and tell us we're wrong. And
Yeah.
I think that's their favorite part of doing the podcast.
We should critique them sometime.
You know what? You know what's so funny? So for my birthday, they gave me a coupon to be a guest on their podcast.
Just you. They didn't include me.
Well, your birthday didn't happen yet. So I'm cashing that coupon in this week.
You are?
Yes.
Right.
They don't know it yet,
Oh,
but I'm cashing that coupon in this week. So maybe if you're listening to this podcast when it comes out in January of 2021, the next Diz Kids podcast, I'm going to be a guest.
I am so impressed.
I'm going to be a guest on their podcast.
You're going to be a guest star, and
Yeah.
I'm just going to be a nobody in the room.
Your birthday will come. They'll let you be a guest.
That's what it takes. You have to have a special day to get invited in.
I guess it has to be
Yeah.
your birthday, and they have to give you a coupon.
They're very selective.
Listen, it's a well-known show now.
Yeah, I guess
They
so.
have to be careful of who they let on. They have to make sure that the guests are legitimate.
So I mean, I understand. They should do that.
I don't know why I'm going on.
That's what I was gonna say.
Just go throw
How
all
you
of it.
got clearance, but I didn't. That is beside me. But whatever. Okay.
All right, well, check us out. Check that out. I'll be on that show next week if you want to tune into that one.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody.
See ya.